Amazing. Amazing. Holy cow. Hello, hello, hello. And welcome to our wonderful show, Owlbear Soup. How's that? How's that? My name's
Perfect.
Rich. Great. I'll be one of your hosts today for the next hour of amazing talk. And of course, as always, the person who actually does this intro and has it memorized
There,
is
I mean,
uh,
there's not an intro to be memorized. There we go. Haha, I'm all caught up.
it's pretty good. Feels like you've got like a rhythm. You gave me the point, and I just was like immediately blanked.
Yeah, uh, I, I, uh, I used to do the intro all the time for going last, and it's just kind of the same little like flow of conversation. So yeah, so I'm the other host. I'm the one who's hitting all the buttons and changing the scenes. I'm Justin. So
We did it. We did it. Okay, that's our
we did it.
show.
That was it. That's it. Goodbye, everyone. We had a good time. It was nice chatting with y'all. Uh, games. I'm going home. Uh,
Perfect. Perfect.
so before we get into news,
Oh my gosh.
let's talk about our Pathfinder game.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'm
indeed.
on the
Right.
knobs.
Yeah.
uh,
Great show. Great show.
great show. We did it.
Feedback is positive.
Oh man,
The AV Club, 2 thumbs up.
AV clubs. AV club says good show. If only we could get better
Mhm.
hosts. Uh,
That's right. That's right. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so we played
oh,
Pathfinder as usual, right? So it's good to do that, I think,
yeah,
like, 12 hours before this show, just so we get
yeah.
a big dose of role playing right before we get started. Our game was the beginning of book 2 of War of the Crown. The
Hmm.
the last Pathfinder adventure path before they switched to second ed. And it's intriguing. It's constantly intriguing.
Yeah, yeah. We are a bunch of social misfits in a very social campaign.
Hmm.
And of course, we make missteps along the way, as you should in any kind of social thing where dice rolling is involved, such
Yeah.
as one of our companions attempting to poison, only a light poison to give him some stomach cramps, poison a noble when we're at a festival, like a dinner type thing.
Yep.
And that was great. They rolled a 1. They spent a hero point and they rolled a 1 again. So,
They did.
and part of the reason I wanted to bring this up is two reasons. One, I hate critical fails in games. I think rolling a
Hmm.
1 shouldn't automatically be like, oh, well, everything's awful and the entire adventure's ruined, right?
Because
And
that would have ruined everything.
exactly, right. So I like ones that add complexity to the story. And
Hmm.
so one of our party got an opportunity to use a really cool power that they took as a feat to help kind of smooth everything over. And that was fantastic. And then we had a very fantastic discussion after the game about rules and about how we should handle this type of stuff. And I thought it was really great. I was really, after I left that game, I was like, man, I like gaming with these nerds.
It's good. It's good. It's right. It's kind of cool that people were able to have that discussion about it because it is a weird rule set, right? Running
Hmm.
critical failures seems like a thing you're kind of supposed to do. It's someone rolled a natural one. The table gasps in roll 20. The number's in red, and it's just suddenly this should be different. Like we should have a reaction just as much as we do when there's a green roll, like someone rolled a critical hit. And it doesn't mean that there should be gameplay going the same way. Being an automatic failure is bad enough, and that's cool.
Yeah,
Leave it there.
yeah,
You failed.
yeah.
That's cool.
That's where I
Um,
stand.
yeah, but this game is really interesting because right now, book 2 seems to be set up to have us running the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves. Oh my gosh, the movie.
Men in
Um,
tights? No, Prince of Thieves.
No, no, yeah,
Prince of
right,
Thieves is the one with Kevin Costner.
right. We're a little bit trying to do Men in Tights in Prince of Thieves, um,
Yeah,
but right. We
yeah,
just arrived at this country estate. There seems to be a new person who has just taken charge of the region. They're directing all the taxes to their own pockets. And we have already picked out our vigilante outfits. So we met all the poor people
yeah.
begging for
Hmm.
food, and we're going to leave this estate. We're at the opening party scene, meeting these terrible nobles, and we will soon be leaving to enact justice over this region. And so I'm kind of excited for this story, this party where we're all kind of lying, dealing with the rogues. We already know that they are, has been a little tricky because yeah, we kind of want to. We're taking off our heroic hats a little bit, and we have to do some intrigue and some lying and some light poisoning. And um, it's a really odd moment, especially for my champion. At least I'm not a champion of truth and justice. I'm a champion of art. So
Yeah.
lying's fine.
Champion of Truth and Justice would have been a little bit awkward last night.
Yeah, would have. Yeah, would
Yeah.
have. I was not going to play that character in this game.
Yeah, so part of, yeah, exactly right. So part of the adventure is there is a vigilante in this town, and we were told to come up with vigilante costumes.
Mhm.
So of course I immediately went to Mr. Miracle, and I was like, oh, I'm totally dressing like Mr. Miracle. Have you figured out your superheroic identity, your vigilante identity?
I think so. I went in and, my character is running around with like a huge glaive that when I swing it, like rainbows come out of it. It's a certified
Uh-huh.
miracle. And, and, like a huge breastplate, huge shoulder armor, whatever the heck that's called, pauldrons. There we go. And
Hmm.
I can't like just get rid of that. I'm not going to run around in leather armor or anything. So I think I'm going with a helmet. Like let's change the colors on things. I messed around in Hero Forge. I built this big helmet with a mask and like these huge ram horns on it. And that looked pretty cool. I don't know if I'm going to stick with it, but it seems like a good start. So
Did you figure out your vigilante name?
no, no. Have you? Are you going? What
I
do you?
think
You've had
I
to come up with other
I think
names too.
I why do they make me come up with the names? This is awful.
I don't know.
Um, I was thinking the orange creamsicle.
Oh, that's good. That's very good. I like that. Oh my gosh. Whew.
uh,
Uh
yeah,
yeah, we
my
should
character
all.
is a very special kind of wizard.
Oh, this is good. What if we were all named after like ice cream treats that you can get on the ice cream truck? There we go. So what could we be?
Ooh, who's
Rocket
gonna be
Pop.
Otter Pop? I want someone to be
It's gonna
Otter
be
Pop.
Otter Pop. That's perfect. All
Yeah,
right, so we got to get in the Discord, propose this idea. Our
right.
vigilante team name
We'll
can
just
be the ice cream song, just the song,
just the song. What's your
the
team
whole
name?
song.
Do, 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 do. Oh
That's perfect.
man. All right.
That's a fun game.
Let's get to the actual show a little bit. And let's dive into a little news. I have a very important piece of news. And it has to do with Rich. He finally got his PS5 this week, and
Oh yeah,
that's news for celebration.
thank you, thank you. Oh my
Look,
gosh.
all the glory.
Yeah.
I'm here for all the
I
glory.
mean, really. Yeah. It's not thanks to me that I have a PS5.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I got some
Yeah.
news.
Okay. Good. Because me too.
There's gonna be a lot of news about Hasbro. Hasbro did their big, where they talk to all the stockholders and those
Mhm.
folks. The people who, you know, pay the company or whatever. So Hasbro has announced several things. I'm going to start with the movies and TV series. So of course we're going to see the Dungeons and Dragons movie. We've seen things like Chris Pine, and so many other fantastic folks that I can't remember off the top of my head who are going to be involved in this Dungeons and Dragons movie. And the best thing I saw about this movie is I really hope that one of the main characters dies off like in the first like 10 minutes, and then they pick up
Oh,
somebody else to join the party who looks exactly like the main character who died off,
mhm.
because
Yeah.
that's a
Just
classic D&D trope.
the same name, Junior. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. um yeah, so
That
there's
would be
also going to
pretty
be a
good.
full length yeah, there's going to be a full length Transformers film again. This one's going to be animated, so that should be more fun than some of the others, although I liked the Bumblebee movie. And then
Fair.
last is Paramount's creating a script for G.I. Joe, and they're also confirming the upcoming Snake Eyes feature film. And that should be coming out this October. And then
Wow.
lastly, this is the weird one to me. Risk is now in development as a scripted series.
As a series. Oh, wow. They're gonna
Yeah,
inflict some things on us. That's
yeah.
actually really interesting. Have you seen Netflix has this show on that just launched this week, maybe? I think it's called Tribes of Europia, maybe. And
No, I haven't
and
seen
it
that yet.
like it's like post-apocalyptic. What if there was a world war after that? So it's just like, it's just the nations of Europe rise and fight again.
Hmm.
After everything going like the EU falls apart and the world falls apart. And it feels dark
Oh wow.
and I don't want to watch it, but when I think about Risk, like okay, Risk could just do that, and there it is.
Yeah,
There's Risk the movie.
exactly.
Unless we're all
Also,
alien forces pushing pieces around a board and then like zoom in on the battle or
oh,
something. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, it could be fun. Wizards of the Coast has a new logo. It kind of looks like Blizzard's logo.
Hmm.
Um, and then let's see here. So Wizards of the Coast was the most profitable sector within Hasbro. So a lot of things are going to get a lot of boosts this year. That's going to be D&D. That's going to be um, Pokemon. That's going to be Magic the Gathering. All these things are going to get this nice little boost
Hmm.
because they're making money, and I think that's good. And we're
Yeah.
going to see some interesting like team ups. Like one thing I saw was Magic sets for Warhammer 40k and Lord of the Rings in 2020.
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
mean, that's like that Warhammer 40k one is almost enough to get me to want to crack open a box of Magic cards.
Right, right. It's a pretty interesting concept, and I'm kind of curious if they're going to keep it in like the standard game or if it's going to be kind of standalone. Like, will those cards see tournament play? I have no idea.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
but right, this is all the things that are possible now that Wizards is its own department within Hasbro, equal to entertainment and toys. it's
Right.
um, they really gave it a serious level up this time. And I was seeing reports that I think Magic and D&D both have. They're claiming 400 million uh, players, both
Oh
of those.
wow.
I don't know how they're counting exactly, but given stats from D&D Beyond and sales and everywhere else,
Mhm.
that's what they're saying, which is pretty bonkers.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right. What do you got?
Well, I was running down some Kickstarters, you know me. There's a whole lot that are pretty incredible right now. I just wanted to chat real quick about Vaults of Magic for 5th edition. This is one I actually like a whole lot. It is by Kobold Press, so it's going to be quality. And it's a compendium of magic items, which just is the thing I need the most in every role playing game there is. Monsters I can kind of
Yeah.
reskin pretty well. That's not a problem. Worlds, no big deal. But once my players start getting bored with my magic items, that's it. The game is kind of in trouble if our
Yeah.
rewards don't matter. Um, and this is at the start 800 magic items
Oh
from the
wow.
Kobold Press team. Yeah. So this is one I do want to check out. I don't know if this will find its way to, you know, uh, D&D Beyond, but certainly I'd expect to see this on Roll20 at some point. The writers
Yeah.
are incredible on this list. It's just, yeah, great.
Yeah. Yeah. It's yeah, I definitely see it on Roll 20. It probably won't be D&D Beyond.
Mhm.
If you remember, they got into a little bit of trouble D&D Beyond did whenever they brought in third-party stuff that one
Yeah.
time with the
Mhm.
League of Legends stuff. So
Yeah.
I don't think we're gonna get any Kobold Press stuff in here.
No, since this is not official. But the Vaults of Magic, the PDF is 25. The book, I believe, is there's 49 for the whole book.
Oh
And yeah,
wow,
they're talking for virtual tabletop roll 20, Fantasy Grounds, or the upcoming Shard. So
interesting.
that was pretty cool. Um, Way more than that, just talking about Kickstarters in general on the site. Right now, there are 2 role-playing game tabletop Kickstarters that are well over $1 million each. One of them, of course, the One
Oh,
Ring that we talked about, second edition for the Lord of the Rings role-playing game. But the other one
mhm.
really surprised me. The Seeker's Guide to Twisted Taverns. Um,
Interesting.
it's a book of pre-made taverns, story hooks, NPCs, and it's just filled with extra stuff. Like they got decks of cards, they've got dice, they've got
Oh wow.
tankards, they've got Funkos, they've got coasters. It's this ridiculous huge campaign, and it seems really immersive. And pretty cool just that you can get all of this stuff. I think their highest pledge level for this, a book on taverns, $250 to get like just set of madness. So kind of cool to check out. I'll put a link to that in the chat just so people can see it, just because it's interesting. I love it when people take a
Yeah.
Kickstarter and go, whoops, um, totally wild like that. Um,
Yeah. That was the appropriate way to do that. That posted it both to Twitch and to YouTube. Yeah,
yes, it
no, I'm
just
looking at
names
this.
me
This is amazing.
restream.
Yeah, that's fine. Whatever. And if you look at it, I like that there's like maps and map tiles, so you can build your own tavern for your D&D game. I'm pretty into this.
Right?
I'm looking at it. It's like, man, I kind of want that mug. I kind of want those
Yeah, right.
dice. I kind of want that job board. Oh my god, so much good stuff.
Does sound like a fulfillment nightmare, that's for sure. But yeah, it's got something for everybody, which I think is why it's doing so ridiculously well. I mean, Eldermancy, the folks putting this on, have a huge YouTube following, so you know,
Yeah.
it's just wild that when I thought about the RPGs that would hit the $1 million mark, this is not the title that that I
No,
thought would do it. So
but it's gorgeous.
pretty
I'm
wild.
I'm I'm really into this. I'll have to research this a little bit. I hope they have a plan.
I do too.
um,
Um, and yeah,
s-
right. I do.
Speaking of
It is the
Kickstarters,
last. I mean, yeah, it's the last 24 hours for Twill's Twist Points. I'm super excited. I dropped a link in the chat. We just hit 200% funding, which is fantastic.
nice.
It was really this campaign was really fun. We ran it for like 2 weeks straight. This was Zine Quest. Wanted to see what we could do with it, and it went pretty well. Zine Quest. What's the word I'm looking in the Zine Quest realm, right? It was
Yeah.
just fun to do, and it was fun running this with one of my old friends, getting to see kind of how he thought about twist points and how he could use them. He did one where he ran a playtest, a great playtest, like with his kids and his neighbors running through it. I mean, playtests are kind of tough right now. I'll be doing it once we've written quite a bit more of this. Um, but I loved it. I loved it. It's just, I don't know if we've talked about it a whole lot, but just like these extra things that your character notices in the scene and then runs around and messes with. Uh,
Yeah.
the infernal machine and how you can use it or how you can destroy it, or that strange crystal over there that you realize has something embedded in it, some kind of energy that you're going to draw out. So it's been fun. It's been fun working on that. Happy to have the project, and now I have to
Yeah.
make the whole thing, produce it down here, and ship it from my living room. It's the dream.
That it sounds like the dream.
Mhm.
So we're still in a time in this world in which we are battling a pandemic, and so there's not going to be a lot of opportunities for most of the normal conventions we have. So a lot of conventions have been turning to doing different online type shows, different online streams, really taking advantage of these platforms. In one of those
Yeah.
is Gen Con. Gen Con is doing a spring showcase. So this is March 6th and 7th. It's from 8:30 a.m. Pacific Standard all the way until like 9:30 p.m. on Saturday, and then 7:30 p.m. on Sunday. So it's basically just a spring showcase showing off a lot of the new games that are coming up. So like Ultra Pro is going to be doing a presentation. Weird Games, Upper Deck, Steam Forged. There's going to be an Indie Game Developers Network, Renegade Studios, Paizo, that type of stuff. So there's going to be a
Yeah.
lot of people showing off a lot of the new stuff that's coming up for their games in this showcase. So if you're not doing anything that weekend, which I think is next weekend, in fact, you can check out some of these sweet games.
Hmm. Oh, wow. That's a whole lot of information all day long. I'm grateful that they're doing recaps at the end of each day. I may have to check some of those
Yeah,
out to see what I missed. That's very cool.
exactly. Yeah, I'll probably just watch the VODs of the recaps.
I'm very interested to see what's coming out, right? Because it's wild right now.
Yeah.
Playtesting games over tabletop simulator and things like that. It's kind of slowed things down, but they're picking back up. So yeah, should be exciting soon.
Cool. We were also talking about Kickstarters, and I just want to bring up one of my favorite kind of deck building co-op games is Aeon's End. Aeon's End Legacy of Gravehold is up on Kickstarter right now. And it's 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 the final Legacy chapter, so they have several chapters that tie into their Legacy games. So their Legacy games are expandable, and yeah, it looks like a ton of fun. I haven't started into their Legacy games yet. Whenever the pandemic's up, I'm probably going to. But yeah, I just love this game. It's so good.
Very cool. I need to try this one out. We've talked about it a bunch. It sounds great. Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay. That campaign looks
All right. Well,
fantastic.
I got one more thing.
I'm ready.
You ready? All right. So
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
one's super important to our our folks who enjoy the role playing game that is oh man, why can I not remember it? Oh yeah, Tales of Equestria, the My Little
Yeah.
Pony RPG.
Uh-huh.
So so there is the Compendium of Equestria now available from River Horse Games. This is a compendium. Let's see. The description is the Compendium of Equestria is a must-have for GMs and players wanting to include the latest and greatest tales of Equestria's content, as well as brand new creatures, characters, and adventures and items.
Wow.
It's it's just the GM book essentially. So GMs can use both the locations and GM's toolkit sections to fill their Tales of Equestria games with deep and interesting settings and plenty of new features, including talents and magical treasures. Players will find
Ooh.
new playable races, expanding the options presented in the core rulebook, and the bestiary of Equestria. The bestiary of Equestria and the movie source book together, you will find some great new spells and talents to use in your adventures. Anyway, I think this is fun. We have the Tales of Equestria starter set on our shelf, so I thought it was kind of a fun looking expansion for that fun looking game.
That's very cool. I'm very happy to see that. One of my saddest moments is
Yeah.
still when I went to PaizoCon one year and the hotel right next door was hosting a My Little Pony convention and there was no like middle ground. Like there was no table
Oh
set
no.
up. Being like, let's play Pony Finder, everybody. Come in.
Oh.
Join us.
Oh,
It would have been perfect.
it would have been. Oh man. All right. Let's see here. So let's go with let's see here. Today we are talking about pirates. Unless there was something else to talk about, should we get into the
That's
topic of
my
the day?
list. Yeah, I'm newsed up. Newsed
All
out.
right,
There we go.
fantastic. News out. All
Yeah.
right, let's see if I have this set up right. We'll see. Probably not. Nope. All right, that's fine. I could fix it while we go.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about pirates. We've already had a nice discussion about them, where we've gone over life on a ship.
Mhm.
We've gone over duties on a ship.
Sure.
We've gone over roles on a ship. So I think that brings us to the point where we start figuring out what it is we are going to be creating with the help of our audience. I think we're going to spend a little bit more time on this. So what I was thinking is maybe not all the details, but let's kind of outline something that would take 1 to 3 sessions.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, and maybe starting at level 1 and ending at level 3.
Okay.
So kind of
That's
like
good.
an adventure
That's
path.
good. Hmm.
Right, and then we'll just kind of outline it and not really like, because that's a lot of encounters. But what we can do is we can kind
It
of create
really
an
is.
outline. We can talk about the adventure, and we can create some of these encounters, and then maybe even talk about some of the additional rules we would want to include with this, such
Right.
as additions for ships, magical items for ships, building your ship as a
Mhm.
crew.
Yes.
That kind of stuff I think would be pretty fun.
I agree.
So
Okay.
let's do the adventure, and then we'll figure out what additional fun rules we need. Or
Yeah.
or are you more excited about, like, let's build our shipbuilding?
Well, I'm trying to think about the shipbuilding idea is really interesting. I mean, we've been talking a little bit about this kind of like collaborative world building aspect, and you could use that to kind of decide what your ship is going to be. Um, but you kind of need to know what the crew is right before you start asking, like, what does your living space look like, and what are your chores. I almost like the idea that at the start here, maybe they are on a ship. Maybe we have a transfer of ships at some point, or some way to customize and define a little bit later. Um,
Yeah.
maybe we're not showing up in our Millennium Falcon on day one. Maybe we're in
Hmm.
something else, and we think down the road we're going to end up in our own ship. Maybe it'd be a good goal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get people
Uh,
situated without overloading them at the start.
yeah. So let's think about this. So we're going to start the adventure on a ship. And then they will eventually get their own ship, and then there will be a conflict,
Yeah.
right? And
Right.
and that's our major beats of the entire thing already, right?
Right. Right.
So the first chunk, let's see, first session, and actually that's session by session, right?
One,
So
two,
let's say
three.
we're
Yeah.
doing 3 sessions. So first session on the ship,
Mhm.
on ship A. Ship A first session. Cool. And then second session will be they get their own ship. And then the
Yeah.
third session
Right.
will be wrapping up the overarching conflict.
Sounds good.
That's the overall conflict. What would we like to this on a ship, not on ship A.
Mhm.
Wow. All right.
I'm
I
ready.
haven't I
I'm
haven't
ready.
really plotted out an adventure this long before, so now I'm just thinking about it a
Right?
little bit, right? So
Well,
this is kind of a new experience for us, right?
mhm. My
Let's
my
look at
brain
the
goes
what's
to
the
the
overall
earliest
conflict.
picture. Ooh, the
Oh, say
overall.
that
Let's
again.
go. Let's go big picture. I was going very small. I'm thinking in my brain about the very introduction, but let's go big. Let's talk about the overall conflict. Um, I
Yeah.
think I can see everybody here, like all of our characters have been, like you were talking about, somehow press ganged onto the ship, right? They're not
Hmm.
here necessarily by choice. Let's say that even if they do want to be a sailor or a pirate, right? Um, they're not on this ship by choice. Um, I
Right.
love the idea that they are here, and somehow, when we're beginning, they're assigned tasks, and while they do those tasks, we learn about how they were each brought onto the ship, kind of like vignette style, and uh,
Hmm.
and so their first major goal is to get the heck off this ship, or mutiny, or do whatever it takes, right, to get their own ship. Um, so I love that starting point. Like a session like that sounds fun. Sounds There's a whole lot to do. You get your captain, your first mate, your hook and smee, or whoever they're going to be that you just need to rise up in battle. That's a great first level adventure. Um,
Yeah.
well, once they do that, once they get their own ship, what's the bigger story? Yeah, where do they go from there?
Yeah. So I'm gonna jump because I love the idea of
Big.
there's some big something, right? And this is three sessions building up to this. I feel like the ship the characters start off on, the ship the PCs start off on, they is owned by another pirate, and this is just part of their armada. So
Yes.
I think I think the conclusion is an epic battle between our players and the pirate captain. And then
Okay.
once so we go to the second, and I think the second session should be hunting down the pirate king, right? And
Hmm.
taking out maybe another one of his other ships.
Right. That sounds good. Oh, I like that. I like that they once they defeat the captain, they go into the captain's quarters for the first time, right? And they find
Yeah.
all sorts of information. You know, they must go bring this much plunder back to that pirate.
Hmm.
What did you say? The leader of
Pirate
the
king.
pirate armada, big old
The
pirate,
pirate
a
armada.
pirate
Yeah.
king. Okay.
I just went with
uh,
Pirate King.
yeah, that,
We could call them the Admiral, right? You know, not the Pirate
I was
Admiral.
thinking that. Yeah, the pirate oligarchs, not right.
Uh,
Okay. Okay. So I like this. So they have this ship, and maybe we do have some space there to still customize it and think about what this ship is going to be from there. People can collaborate on that a
yeah,
little. Um,
yeah.
right. We'll keep the first adventure. Maybe their tasks are so specific that we leave the ship a little ill-defined. Maybe in those early ones. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. You know, now they're getting access to the quartermaster's hold, to the captain's
Hmm.
chambers. They can't go up in the crow's nest before. You know, they can't go into the navigation room. But
Right, right.
but maybe now it's like, let's talk about what those things are and what you discover when you go in there.
Yeah. All right. Let's look at the opening tasks. So we discussed a lot of things. Um, you know, so like cleaning out the bilge.
Hmm.
So this could be like rats and ceiling cracks in the hole, right? That type of
That is
thing. And
good.
then yeah, and then for another task,
Right.
tarring
That's
the
really good.
deck.
Tarring the deck. I love the idea that there is something they do at the start. Like you all wake up from the cage and you have to, I don't know, punch the bosun or something. Everybody gives an attack roll and they assign these tasks from like best to worst based on how that goes. Like, sorry, wizard, you it was a
Yep.
very light hit, or you missed completely. Like, you're doing the worst task.
Yeah.
Something to give that like sense of rank you were talking about, even in a situation that's unranked. Could be fun.
Right. Chosen by punching the bosun.
Bosun can
I
take
like
it,
that,
right?
right? Like, all right, all right, slime.
Yeah,
I want you to
just have,
smack me, smack me hard.
just like,
I'm
just
gonna.
go for it.
Come on, wizard. Gonna have to try
Right?
harder than that.
You
To the
gotta get
crow's
some way to
nest.
figure out who you found on your press ganging trip, right?
Right. Oh, I love that. Oh.
Yeah,
All right.
much
So
better than
cleaning
just
out the
random
bill.
rolls for these things. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
We rank them from
Uh,
best to worst and give them tasks. Um,
Take watch in the crow's nest. I think is going to be
yeah.
one of these.
Hmm.
Because that's awful. All right. So we probably need 5 or 6 tasks. Let's
One
see,
for each.
filling
Yeah.
cracks with rope and tar.
Oh, I totally want someone
Um,
dangling from a rope, like over the edge of the ship, like trying to patch a plank
yeah,
or something.
exactly. Oh yeah, no. Let's even go patching a plank. So outside,
Hmm.
right? And this is
Yep.
just on the floor because that's awful. And then whoever
Yeah.
hits the softest becomes the powder monkey.
Yeah.
Um, so they crawl in dank, dark spots, trying to fill cannons.
hmm The cannonballs have all rolled around.
Uh, yeah, cannonballs roll. Yeah, and make sure everything is orderly, right?
Oh my gosh, that sounds awful. I was thinking of a terrible worst, which would be we need you to attract some sharks because the crew needs food. It's Friday, it's Shark Day. So we're gonna put you in a cage and we're gonna make you bleed a little bit. It's your job
uh,
to attract sharks.
oh man. Uh, I know a very unchild friendly joke about spending time in a barrel.
Oh,
So we won't get into that here.
okay.
Uh, but you know, and then so that's a few things.
Yeah, those are
I'm
great.
trying to think, is there anything else? Oh, you know what? There should be one that's just like uh you assist the navigator. Right? You know, it's a very cush job. So one person has a like kind of a cush job where they're like assisting the navigator. The navigator's super cool, and maybe you recruit the navigator.
Exactly. This is really good. So we come up with something that is just awful. Maybe it is like, well, you don't seem like you're going to be a lot of use here, so you're going to be bait for the sharks. And then the navigator steps in and says, "No, no, no, I'm claiming this one."
Right.
Um, I
right. Oh yeah. So worst hit goes worst hit is threatened to go be chum, and the navigator steps in.
yeah, that sounds really nice.
And and that seems like it would probably align pretty well with somebody who is a more intelligence based or dexterity based, right? So that might be a perfect option for them too. I like that. I like that a lot. You know, to navigate, maybe the navigator, because navigating is such a you know, a difficult task. And that's kind of a good task to have your NPC do. If of all the tasks on the boat, right, is have that navigator, so that all you have to do is report to that person, and that person will then say, okay, we'll see on the map. It's going to take us 3 days to get here and here. And if you look at the weather patterns, the way you know they do all that. They can do all that for you. So I'm going to make a note up here. So our navigator is going to be our patron NPC.
That sounds good. Yeah.
So
Um,
our patron style NPC.
and I like the idea that potentially they are also like not on the ship of their own free will, or maybe this isn't where they'd like to end up. So
Hmm.
they're happy to help out the PCs once things start going down. But I also like that it's
Yeah.
another character to be like, "What's your? How did you end up on this ship?" Yeah, the ship is. Its folks are not great.
Yeah.
You know, you get
Yeah.
stories instead of having to live experiences, I suppose.
Yeah.
Just fast.
Yeah. And maybe he was press gang too, right? You know, or they were.
Yeah.
Um, you know, maybe he or she or they were press ganged into this, and you know, and so they're able to share that story with you, and you're like, okay, well, you know, I mean, really, they're not always that bad. Sometimes they get a little rough. You know, that type of thing.
But we also need that moment, right? Yeah, I don't know if we're mutinying. I don't know, but you need someone in the crew already to be the one to say, like, yeah, the not everyone on this ship likes the captain a whole lot. So if they were
Right.
suddenly out of here, you know,
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so we got those basic tasks. I want to go ahead and outline. I want a different. There we go. Punishments, just a couple.
yeah,
Uh, you know, just in case someone in our party decides to get a little uh uppity or you know doesn't follow the orders. So walking the plank wasn't something that they really did. They did keel haul folks. Now I
right,
don't think we should totally keel haul of any of our players. This is a
right.
threat,
I agree.
not a real thing. But you know, we could drag them behind a ship for a little while.
Mhm.
Uh, uh, the ship, you know, and we could tie them to the mast. for a time.
Mhm.
You could bust out the cat of nine tails.
Wow, yeah.
And whip them. So and hit them. So, letting the cat out of the bag was pulling the cat of nine tails out of a bag of a bag that they kept them on for punishments on a ship. So that's kind of
Yeah.
a very classic one, right? And then of course awful tasks, right?
Awful tasks. Yeah.
So yeah, so like, oh well, now like now you have to clean the bilge,
Hmm.
or you get another shift on the crow's nest, right?
Right. Absolutely.
Uh, those types of things. So, just a couple of options in case it comes up. Like, and I don't think all the players are going to. I think one player will probably test the limits,
Sure. Yeah.
and then they'll get something awful that they have to do.
Right. And you set it up like that so that they kind of know what the situation is all about. It's not a we're not hanging out in a democracy. It's definitely you've
Yeah.
got to do these things until you have your
Hmm.
moments, right? And the navigator is
Exactly.
there to be the one to be like, just wait for your moment. It's we're it's not here in the open sea when it's just the five of you with brooms.
Hmm. Exactly. Um, okay, so this whole chunk, this all covers introductions, getting folks sorted on the ship, and introducing the crew. Our crew has a navigator.
Yep.
Navigator. It has a captain.
Hmm.
This crew, maybe this crew just has a first mate slash. Uh, wow, my brain is speaking. Uh, they have a first mate and they have a bosun. Uh, God, why can I not remember that role? I am totally
Bosun's
spacing
important.
on it. We talked about it last. Bosun's important. We're gonna have the bosun because somebody has to get punched.
Right.
Um,
This ship,
quartermaster. That's what I was
yeah,
thinking.
quartermaster, who is keeping things locked down so that the heroes cannot go anywhere on or everywhere on the ship. They know there's secrets here.
Yeah. I was thinking for the most part we could do the first mate quartermaster same person, but we could make them two separate people. Uh,
Yeah,
and then
maybe.
the arm. Hmm.
I guess a lot of it depends on what the what the end of this adventure is going to be like. Are they, raising up and dispatching this crew, or
Yeah,
because then we can
and that's kind of
maybe,
what I'm setting towards, right?
yeah,
Is that they are going to rise up and dispatch this crew, so we don't want to like overpower them too much with too much like officers, too many officers, because I imagine our in thing is going to be our party disposing of the officers and either taking over the ship or taking over another ship.
right,
Okay, so those are some of the crews. We've done some introductions. We got our navigator, who's our friend, who kind of helps them through some stuff. And then
mhm,
we need our our first conflict.
right,
And then this one, I, I feel like our first conflict should actually be weather, right?
yeah,
Let's toss them in a
right.
storm,
Let's see a storm.
right? Let's toss them in a storm, and afterwards, they need to keel haul or not keel haul. They need to breach the. Yeah, they need to breach a ship on a beach and fix damages.
I mean, that sounds good. I also feel like for a lot of this, right? I mean, this ship, these obviously there's nowhere to go, right? But our
Hmm.
pirate captain is not very nice. Um, maybe our heroes have like some kind of a large iron anklet, something like that. That's gonna, in the storm, it's gonna make it a little tougher to move around. If I get knocked off the ship, that's a huge problem suddenly. Like I have to stay on
Yeah,
board. I don't know if that's a
yeah.
traditional thing or if just isolation is enough, but You know, I don't
I
want
mean,
one of the
I mean,
characters to be a merfolk and just be like, I'm out of here.
right, right. Well, I mean, and that's fine, right? Because then they're out of there.
Yeah.
I figure like the storm should be enough to keep people on a ship.
Okay.
Uh, but maybe you're right. Maybe if aquatic players, maybe aquatic players do have a shackle on them.
Right. Something to keep them so
Yeah,
because if we're playing a
aquatic
pirate
and
campaign,
flying.
playing a turtle actually sounds great. Like I know I'm going to be underwater. I know that's going to be useful. And suddenly the
Yeah.
threat of being trapped on the ship is not a threat at all. I just dive off one night and I'm out of here. Um,
Yep.
Especially since our characters are meeting each other by being here, assumedly. Um, that yeah, I might just want to leave. The game, the meta level player would keep me there, but still,
Hmm.
I could run.
Yeah. Let's see here. So,
Flying as well.
yeah. All right. So now they have to fix some damages. Once they fix the damages, and this may take a couple days, right? This may take a couple days.
Right? This feels
So,
like maybe they're getting accepted by the crew at this point. You've gone through it, or maybe you need to go
yeah,
through your first fight as well.
yeah, and that's kind of what I'm thinking. Is now the ship is vulnerable. They're on a desert island in the middle of nowhere, so clearly they get attacked
Yeah.
while on
Hmm.
shore.
Right?
What is a good level 1 encounter that we could do on an island?
Hmm.
Let's see here. I mean, goblins are easy. We could do some island goblins.
That's true. Yeah.
Maybe yes. So like, is it island goblins with a couple of hobgoblins leaders? Yeah, just do a
Dude.
couple island goblin encounters with some hobgoblins
Yep.
kind of leading it, just to kind of break it up a little, just enough to kind of bond a little bit with some of the other crew.
Ooh.
And
And if we do this in multiple stages, right? If this is a 2-stage fight, the first one, they don't get weapons. They get, use that belaying pin you found. Like, here's
oh
a
yeah,
big plank of wood, right? But maybe by the second encounter, some of the other pirates have fallen in the fight and they can retrieve some basic weapons.
yeah, belaying pin. Yeah, or other mundane items as clubs.
Right.
Second, more involved encounter. They get a little bit. They get access to weapons.
Hmm. And I
And
like
we're
that.
still
I think
outlining.
that sounds fun.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And then at that point, right, when they get back, they are accepted by the captain's happy about all this going on. Good
Yeah.
work. You're in the crew. That gives you each one share and, of course, one vote.
Yep.
And that's the thing. The navigator is like, excellent. 5 more votes
Right.
is all we needed.
Right. Wow, totally. The feast. I feast on the forgotten.
Town's
Towns
gone
gone
to
to
ruin.
ruin. You see me. Now you don't remember me. What am I? All right. That sounds like a sweet puzzle to sort out. While you think on that, Rich, I'm gonna catch up on this. So now the crew they each share one vote, as well as getting a share of the loot.
Hmm. Hmm.
This gives them a little bit more power, a little bit more um ability on the ship, and the navigator takes notice, right?
Yeah.
And this is when the navigator outlines like, hey, you could sway members, and this could be social, right? You could sway
Mhm.
members of the crew to vote for you as captain. And I think then it's a social encounter,
Yeah. Yep.
and then we wrap up the adventure with the vote, right?
Oh, you're just gonna wrap it with a
And
vote. Okay.
well, and should the PCs win, the officers attack.
Okay. Yes. Good. We want to end
We
with
end with
them
a
in
combat.
control of the boats with a crew that seemed to be on their side.
Yeah. In the crew are just gonna be in some NPCs, and we can kind of outline those as just general crew members, probably like level 1 fighter types, that type of stuff. And
Hmm.
then and that'll give a base crew for the players too, whenever
Yeah.
they take on uh other other adventures.
Hmm.
So
Right. Once they get access to everything, like then they can start getting their armor and the things that they're actually gonna need as the players they are. I hate not giving,
right,
you're a fighter, but yeah, you don't have armor or weapons. Good luck. Is tough. But this will
right,
be the moment we get it all back. Okay.
nice.
Okay. Here are my
uh
thoughts. This puzzle so far.
yeah,
So I
all
feast
right.
on the forgotten. Town's gone to ruin. That's an interesting one. You see me now, you don't remember me. That's what made me think about intellect devourers or mind flayers. Like that's where I was
Oh,
kind of at with this. Is this is a I feast on the forgotten, right? That really seems like I had a thought, but now it's gone. The thing that just ate it is happy.
yeah.
I think those are mine. I
I,
think I'm gonna go. I just love intellect devourers, little brains with legs and arms,
yeah,
and ugh,
right.
they're gruesome.
Oh, those are some of my favorite minis, like of the D&D minis, is the intellect devours, the brains with feet. Um, they're so
Like, is that a
good, right?
dog? No, no.
No, yeah, no. I was trying to. I was going a very different route. I was thinking something a little more like vampire-esque, but I couldn't quite put it all together. But
Mhm.
I like your intellect devour or illithid. I
Yeah.
think those are great options.
Town's
So
gone to
we'll
ruin. That's the part that I'm not sure about. But maybe that's mind flayers, right? They destroy towns, don't they? They take over. I
yeah,
don't
maybe.
know.
I don't know. Well, that's a puzzler. Let me think. Yeah, I'm
That's a
gonna have to
good
think about
question
this.
from
That's good.
the puzzler.
Yeah. Thanks for that, alligator turtle. We're gonna have to think of that, and hopefully you'll drop the answer off to us at some point. Um, yeah, cool. Well, this kind of also puts us at a good spot for kind of wrapping up the show. We have outlined the first portion of our adventure. We'll come back next week and we'll start into outlining the second and maybe even getting into the
Yeah.
third part of this adventure. Once we kind of get the outline going, then we'll pick a couple of encounters, maybe 2 or 3. We'll build those out, and then possibly start building out a system to build your own ship with your players.
Yeah.
So I think that's all coming up in the next few weeks. We'll
Hmm.
be streaming here on both YouTube and Twitch live on next Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And and you can find us on all the socials at Owlbear Soup. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
anything else?
Oh
Anything you
my
want to
god.
shout out? Oh, we should shout out your Kickstarter before we.
Oh yeah.
I think we
Right.
settled on Mind Flayers, right?
I think mind flayers. Yeah. I think
I think Mind
that's
Flayers.
my top one. Although I love them little brains.
Yeah,
um.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I think we're going Mind Flayers on this one. And yeah, anything to shout out? Your Kickstarter, your upcoming things. Do you have any more D&D
Yeah.
school coming up for people to sign up for? That type of stuff.
I will go ahead and drop that link in the chat to Twills Twist Points. Um, it's on Kickstarter for 21 more hours. If you want to check that out and get some more new ways to explore to your advantage. The Academy. This is my break week. We just wrapped up season 4. Our shipboard battles, which was pretty fun. They we ended, of course, with a battle against a pirate ship full of zombies, and captained by the time traveling assassin who I'm trying to turn into their big nemesis for this year.
False Hydra. All right.
False Hydra.
Oh man,
Now I've got a
that's
new
great.
thing. I love Hydras.
So a false Hydra is an epic fight you'll never remember. Um, a false Hydra is a fan-made homebrew monster that gained quite a bit of popularity for evil Dungeons and Dragons masters. Yep. So
Oh,
that's pretty cool. That I found a little bit of information on that on a Skull Splitter Dice blog,
oh,
and
very cool. Very cool.
yeah, that's awesome. All right, cool. Thanks for sharing that with me. That's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah, this is an actual town destroyer. Okay. Take that,
Yeah,
intellect of ours.
yeah, that's awesome. Cool, awesome.
Very
Thanks for
cool.
sharing that. And I think with that, you were wrapping up talking about how you were wrapping up gaming with the kids this week,
Oh,
uh,
it was
and
great.
then you get what, a week or two off before you start into your next batch.
I get a week. The next adventure is the season of the Golden Games, and so they're going to be headed to. I can't give everything away, but let's just say they're headed to the Fantasy Olympics, and it's going to go poorly like immediately.
Awesome.
This time I'm going
I
to give
love
them
that.
this big twist right at the start, and I'm going to put them up against some pretty serious challenges because they are 5th level now and they are super strong.
Awesome. Cool.
Yeah,
Well, I can't wait to hear more about that. Thanks for the puzzle and the follow alligator
yeah,
turtle.
that was awesome.
Thank you so much. And you know what? We'll see you all again next week. Same time, same place, same bad rolls. I don't know. I maybe I should figure out an outro, or I could just do the outro where I just